those who rely upon the authority of others disseminate to them what to think, that they relinquish their own will. And to do that is pretty sad and pathetic in a state of affairs. Most men are inherently wicked. Why would you hand over your will to someone else so they have authority? It means they have author over you. And let's just discuss the two kingdoms. We have to identify, and this is what this study's about, is walking this narrow path in the center. But you have to identify one from the other. Jurisdiction. What does jurisdiction mean? It means original owner. He owns the property. Jurisdiction is Yahuwah, the Father. The truth is the most important thing, which is Yahushua, the Word. The law of the land is the Father's. Well, over here under the beast is the beast from the sea, the water, admiralty, fictions of law. On the Father's side is honor, truth, and integrity. On the beast side is personas, persons. The government is given to you by your commandments. We're over here, deception and contrivances, and it's the kingdom below. It's the sublime, below the mud. Sub means to submit to. The kingdom from above. This is your living word, irrevocable covenant, contract, testamentary, Yahushua, trust, word. Word not returning to the void. And over here, you start breaking down the beast kingdom. Democracy, socialism, communism, capitalism. These are all the beast kingdoms. Perfected laws, which is Yahushua also. Total embodiment of the Father. Over here, you have substance equals value. And the beast kingdom is Monet, which, by the way, is the Roman goddess of the temple Monet. Money without substance. Does gold or silver back the U.S. dollar? So it's just what? It's just debt. No matter which way you slice it up, you and I are going to trade debt back and forth between one another. That's all we do. It has no substance, has no value. On the Father's side, if you fulfill the royal law, love thy neighbor as thyself, thy do will. And that is love and denial of self. The opposite is love and service of self. And this is do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. It's love and service of self. Broad, many, and wide is the path of destruction. It means there's a million ways to sunbathing to travel down that path. Do we understand the narrow path? Few there be that find it. Who are you? You've been trained just to say something back. I am Brandon. No, you're not. Most will answer that question with a name, which is just a description, or better yet, an appellation. We'll define the terms. It's from the Latin appellio, appellatio, name, the word by which a thing is called and known. Are you a thing, or is it just an identification? You ask me who I really am, there has to be substance of what makes me who I am. The purpose of this study is for each and every man, woman out there to be able to start discerning between the kingdoms. A description is a definition. All definitions must be less perfect descriptions of a material thing than a visible figure or delineation. To delineate is a line. To draw the lines which exhibit the form of a thing. To mark outward lines. To make a draw. To sketch or design. As to delineate the form of the earth or a diagram. It's a vain thing. It's the artificial, the artifice. This is all things that come from men instead of the Father. So we can automatically go ahead and put these ideas, concepts where? Into the beast system. To paint, to represent and picture, to draw a likeness of. That means to not be, it's to be like. Figuratively, to describe, to represent the mind, represent. Remember, you can't be represented because you can only be present. If you can be represented, there's two of them. There's only one. What I want to show you is what happens in these courtrooms, in these magistrates. There's a game being played. You don't understand the game because you don't recognize it, because you've never been taught it. Well, that shows you just how corrupt the system that educates its citizens to keep them in a constant state of unawareness.
Did you get my notice?
Your motions that you filed, your notices that you filed, yes, the court has reviewed them. I'm calling court case 19 CM.
Ignoring it, right?
State of Wisconsin versus Ryan Robert Desmond. He is appearing.
Okay, so we got the state of Wisconsin, we got appearing, and we've got, she's trying to hand him a title, which is sir.
In person.
In person. To be in something means to be joined. She didn't say as man, did she? Talk about the signs. You go into a court. A court is supposed to be a level playing field, right? Like a tennis court. Who's sitting above and who's sitting below? Right off the bat, what is this individual signifying to the rest of the people in the court? I'm above you. If that was in reality, this demonic, Saturn worshiping Talmudic priest up here, because that's what that is. Why it has the mourning robe on, all black. The signs are there for you to see them. They're mourning the death of the living man because you keep acting like something else. Sir comes from the Latin sir, surname, that thing which is given, the thing which creepeth up from below. The statement. In person designates property. If you're in something, it means there's property involved. Do you understand that? It means there's real value. Substance is at stake. The dead thing has no value. The in person. It is the living man or woman who has substance. Substance is from the Latin substantia, substo, in a general sense, being something existing by itself. But the evidence is right before your eyes. You exist outside of what these people. You exist because you exist. That in itself is the substance. That which really is or exists, applicable to matter or spirit, your church and your state. And everything's about titles. These next few definitions are from Black's Law Dictionary. Why do you think they call it Black's Law? It follows the Talmudic priest up there, the magistrate in all black. It's telling you black is of the dark side and white is of the what? Good side. Light and darkness. That's why, of course, it's called Black's Law. A title is the radical meaning of this word appears that of a mark, style, designation, a distinctive appellation. What is an appellation? That's your name. That's not who you are. Remember, she asked him if he appeared, right? Of a summons. In person. Ghost appeared. Witches summon demons. And the only in person is a mask wearer. It means in persona. It means you're not who you really are. Thus, in the law of persons, a title is an appellation of dignity or distinction, a name denoting social rank of the person bearing it as duke or count. So the sir, very often the time, was informing the man, as long as he accepted that title of sir, it lowered him right off the bat. That's the game. It's being played right there in front of your face. A homo, a man, a human being, male or female, a vassal, a feudal tenant, a retainer, dependent, or servant. A human is from the old French human, unmain, of or belonging to man, of man. Are y'all of man, or are you existent because of the Father?
Assistant District Attorney Hannah Schuckert is appearing for the state.
This is the office of the beast. Make no mistake about it. The words have meaning.
And we're here today, sir. Have you received a copy of the criminal complaint?
Stand on my notice.
Did you receive a copy of the criminal complaint?
Okay, so we have the other officer back here, the bailiff, who was talking in the background. It'll go a lot easier if you just start answering the questions. Well, of course it will, because as soon as you start answering the questions at the way they present them to you, now you are agreeing to the contract.
You got my notice.
Did you receive a copy of the criminal complaint, sir? This is a very simple question. I called other cases before you so that you could understand how the court process is proceeding.
Understand, under signifies underneath somebody. Stand, she's standing above. Do you understand the questions that I'm putting to you? It means, do you stand under my authority? So now we're going to go into fear. So he hasn't performed the procedures the way she wanted him to at this point in time. So now we have to move to fear.
This is a very simple question. You were sent a criminal complaint and a summons, and you are being charged with carrying a concealed weapon, party to a crime. That is a Class A misdemeanor. If you are convicted of that crime, you could be fined not more than $10,000 and imprisoned not more than 9 months. Count 2 is obstructing an officer, party to a crime. Now, knowing what you've been charged with and the maximum penalties, you have certain rights. One of those rights is for the state to prove these allegations against you in a court of law.
How many times have we proved we don't have courts of law? We've got courts of chancery operating under what jurisdiction? Admiralty jurisdiction. There's no law. There's the codes and statutes. What she just read proves that. She wrote the codes and the statutes and the policies that he supposedly broke. There's no law. There's no operation of law in the United States at all.
Also entitled to have court trial or jury trial.
Entitled to have. She's still trying to force him to take one of these titles. Either submit to the state, submit to an attorney, or do the will and the bidding of this process. Please get into this process.
That is of your choice. You are also entitled to having an attorney represent you. If you are not working, you can apply to the state public defender, and then an attorney can be appointed for you. If you do not qualify for the state public defender, you have several other options. One of those options is to defend yourself. Another option is to hire an attorney. Now, those are your rights, sir. This is the purpose of today's hearing.
That's not your rights. These are all what? Privileges and immunities. Granted, he who doesn't know his rights, he has them. All right, let's go ahead and finish this video and then we'll finish.
So, I need to know, do you plan on hiring an attorney?
I don't understand what you're saying. I don't speak your language. I only speak Mandarin.
Ah, good point. How does he know that she's speaking a different language? Well, their dictionary's right there. Have you ever seen the Black's Law Dictionary? Did you know what the words actually mean in there? You have to look them up. There's a different language being spoken inside this courtroom. So you already had an unfair advantage. So you can't understand. I'm just going to let this play out and then we'll do the rest of the slide.
It's okay. You got my notices.
See, she's ignoring
This can
him.
be addressed upstairs in circuit court.
I just want you to know, he's sending a notice prior to this. She's ignoring him.
At this point, I've told you the purposes of today's hearing. I'm going to enter not guilty pleas
Watch this.
on your behalf.
If you enter a plea on my behalf, you will be held fully liable.
She said she was going to enter a plea on his behalf. What's a plea? It's to beg before someone, to plead. Oh, please don't leave me. Well, that's what plea is. It's to beg. He punted the ball back into the court. Now, what scripture is he using right there? Let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. No one can represent you. You can only be present.
We will be then sending this case upstairs. This is going to branch A with Judge Lee Joyce. Now, before I enter that on...
So she's recusing herself. She's sending it on down the line. I want to make a 100% statement for everybody out there. Depending on which Talmudic priest you get up there, we should never be in here in the first place. They don't play by rules to benefit us. We should never be here. But if you ever do get here, this is the game being played in there.
You do have a right to substitution. Do you have a problem with Judge Lee Joyce hearing your case?
Who are you?
You don't even know who she is.
I am the court commissioner.
He asked, who are you? And what did she say? I am the commissioner, which is an office, which is a veil. It's not real. No, he asked her who she was. Who are you to have authority over me?
In charge of hearing this introductory hearing in the court, I'm asking you, do you have a problem with Judge Lee Joyce hearing your case?
Who are you? You just answer your questions.
Sir, we don't have time for this. I have a courtroom full of people.
I'm not a servant.
Mr. Ryan Desmith,
She's still trying to give him an appellation, Mister. What is the definition of Mister? It's a lower form of master. It's in subjection to a master. It's what a mister is. Just as the same thing as we say call someone ma'am. Do you really know what you're saying when you say ma'am? A madam. Well, a madam is someone at a whorehouse. That's the real definition of ma'am, is a madam. That's where it comes from. In this world, over here, what it really means by the law is something totally different than what you take it as. That's the point. That's why he won't accept any of their titles.
do you have a problem with Branch 8, Judge Lee Joyce hearing your case?
Whose court is this?
Yes.
January 27th at 9 o'clock.
That will be your next hearing. It'll be upstairs in front of Judge Lee Joyce. The court has entered a not guilty plea on your behalf.
Did you hear how she changed that wording? Who entered the not guilty plea? The court. She knew when she said it, she would enter up, and he called it that she had made a mistake. The court isn't a real entity. She changed her words on the second go round. This is the attention to detail when you listen to these things that is required.
Whose court is this?
The court will issue a $2,500 signature bond. Also, no contact with, this is the Assembly of God Church, and also no possession of any weapons. You can come forward, sir. Sign your bond.
I stand on my notice.
Sir, come on. You don't have time for this.
I'm not a servant.
Either side of this, or we're going to make it refused.
I did not service.
Refused, and then you
So why'd they offer him the paperwork in the first place? Notice he handed him the pen. Where's your signature always go? It's always at the bottom of the paper. There's a reason for that. But overall, if you would have been in this position right here, in that courtroom, instead of that judge, what would you have done? You would have believed that this circus going on around you is real. You would have believed that you would have had to do everything that they asked you to do. They presented it to you. They led you to believe that. And you would have probably followed through, knowing the whole time that every time you said yes or you signed something, you were actually the one damaging yourself. Folks, we're coming to a time of great revelation where you can't walk lukewarm in the middle. He's going to spew you out of his mouth. The path to destruction is wide. The revealing is the apocalypso, and unveiling. It means the truth becomes apparent and you have to make a choice. So facts appear when the evidence from which facts may be found is introduced. Well, that's law. Facts appear. Ghosts appear. Who's the evidence? Who's the substance? You. Any living man or woman is the substance. Facts appear when the substance acts as if he's being introduced. as a title, as a sir, as a ma'am, a mister. But guess what happens when the presumptions are disclaimed? Presumptions disappear when facts really appear. Notice that it's not in quotation marks? Remember, we're dealing with double speakers. Appear comes from the Latin apparo. It's to be manifest, to come or be in sight, to be in view, to be visible. That's why you're suddenly there. You weren't, now you are. To summon comes from the submonio, sub and monio, from the Latin. To call, to cite, to notify by authority, to appear at a place specified. It's to be summoned up from the dead, or to attend in person to some public duty, or both. A person, a man considered according to the rank he holds in society, with all the right to which the place he holds entitles him, and the duties which it imposes. You starting to see maybe we might have something. Person again, a noun, a person, from the Latin persona, said to be compounded of per, through or by, and sonus, sound, a Latin word signifying primarily a mask used by actors on the stage. Ye hypocrites. Woe unto you hypocrites. What does hypocrite mean? It's the original Greek word. Hypokritos, actors. Considerations are either executed or executory, expressed or implied, good or valuable. The consideration every time means there's a trade of value, is the consideration. Because consideration, agreement, obligations. See definitions, info. Contracts, the inducement to a contract. That's what the consideration is. So the Talmudic priest up there is that the whole time that she is talking, he's trying to induce you into what? Accepting the contract. It's the whole job. That's the entire job. The cause, motive, price, or impelling influence which induces a contracting party. The cause, motive, price, or impelling influence which induces a contracting party to enter into contract. The reason or material cause of a contract. Entitled. In its usual sense, to entitle is to give a right or a title. Can man give you rights? No. Why can't he? It's not the authority to give it. It comes from the Father. To plead is to beg, to throw oneself at the mercy of the beast and these Talmudic priests of Saturn. A commissioner, we're just discussing what she called herself to be up there, right? That's what we're doing. Every word that she used, we have to understand what's being said there. We have to define the terms. She's an officer of the law, so we have to use Black's Law Dictionary to define the words that she's using. You can't go use Webster's or Oxford's English Dictionary. That's not the word language being used in there. It's called legalese. Same thing with medical language. Medical language, the actual names of things is in Latin. There's a reason, because the names don't change in Latin. The definitions don't change like they do in English. Over time, English definitions continue to change. Commissioner, a person whom a commission is directed by the government or a court. In the governmental system of the United States, this term denotes an officer who is charged with the administration of the laws. An office, a right to exercise public or private employment, and to take the fees and emoluments thereunto belonging, whether public as those of magistrates or private as of bailiffs, receivers, or the like. An assigned duty or function. Synonyms are post, appointment, situation, place, position. Office commonly suggests a position of especially public trust or authority. Also, right to exercise a public function or employment, to take the fees belonging to it. It's all about those fees, folks. Why everything comes with a value behind it, right? Is the money the actual value? Let me ask this. Is the money that you carry around the actual value? Is the sweat equity? For each $100 that you hand over to someone, there's sweat equity behind that. The office, the official administration of the beast, is the commissions, the fees, the feudal. The entire scam is to convert you, the living man, by fraud into a persona, by you agreeing to the consideration offered and signing below. What a wicked and adulterous generation we are witnessing. The sign is to affix one's name to a writing or instrument for the purpose of authenticating it, or to give it effect as one's act. To make any mark as upon a document and token of knowledge, approval, acceptance, or obligation. Mark on your right hand or in your head. Your hand signifies your works. The center of your head is your mind. So you have your church, which is your temple, and then you have your state of being. What really makes you who you are. The name that is applied to me doesn't describe anything of who I am. It's just an identification mark for me to turn my head and look at you. There's so much more to me than that. To subscribe comes from the Latin subscribo, to sign with one's hand, to give consent to something written, or to bind oneself by writing one's name beneath. As parties subscribe a covenant or contract, a man subscribes a bond or articles of an agreement. Matthew 23:15. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, Pharisees? Who's the scribes, folks? Lawyers, judges, magistrates. Pharisees, who's the Pharisees? Religion, hypocrites. For you compass sea and land to make one proselyte, and when he is made, you make him twofold more the child of hell than yourselves. That's why it's scribes, people who write laws, codes, statutes. Rome, Greece, Persia, Babylon. Judaism is secular humanism, which is state of government, relative morality, and systems of men. It's out of the beast system. Moral relativism. There's no absolutes. You say you're a female now, Troya? Okay. Yes, sir. Whatever you want to frolic in the backyard like a unicorn, go ahead. No, it's not real. No one is relinquished of their own moral responsibilities by forfeiting their authority authored to someone else. The Agent Smiths. It's an allegorical form about the reality that's here in today. Not some far distant future. It's about the allegory that you live in today. Everybody walking around inside the matrix. They can't see the matrix for what it is. They cannot see the beast. They cannot identify who the beast is. And cannot see their own hypocrisy and will commit crimes exactly as they're trained to do. That is a hard truth, but it is reality. Don't put any faith in the system of men operated by men. Have you ever heard the saying that all wars are bankers' wars? Just because you see it on TV, folks, doesn't make it real. If a country's in debt, what are its people that live there? Slaves. Everything in this reality that comes from the beast and their operatives is aimed at lowering you in position. That's what it's all about. It's always about lowering you down, naming you, granting you title, offering you incentives, benefits of some kind or another to enslave you. This is because if you ever figure out who and what you are, the game is over. Entire languages have been contrived to keep us babbling. Our entire lives is controlled information and force-fed propaganda aimed at the destruction of our church and state. Does the Father dwell in houses built with stone with man's hands? No, he does not. Where is the temple? Anybody know? You are the temple. So we know. Where's the temple? It's us. You are the temple. You're very important. But those with eyes to see, they fear not. And through diligently searching for the truth, find peace in a world of chaos. How does that happen? My joy doesn't come from anybody else. My joy comes from within. My joy comes from knowing the truth in a world of lies, being able to see the truth. I cannot force anyone to love the truth. I cannot do it. It's not up to me. It is up to the individual to make truth their single passion. Many are called, few are chosen. Have the faith of a mustard seed, my friends. Mustard seed is going to follow its path. It questions not at all that it will be a humongous tree one day. What's wrong with humanity? It questions. It doubts. It has not the faith of the mustard seed. The mustard seed just knows. It follows its creative design. What if mankind followed its creative design? From above. Send thine hand from above, rid me and deliver me out of those great waters from the hand of strange children. We know this. That's why it's called admiralty law, maritime law. It's the serpent that cast water from its mouth. It's that Leviathan. It's the beast from the sea which got up on the land. These concepts are very simple. Deliver me from those strange children and that great water. Proverbs 15:24. The way of life is above to the wise. That means I don't appeal to man's systems, that he may depart from the hell beneath. Now, come on now, we're talking about two different systems. One's from above, one's from down here. Drop down, you heavens, from above, and let the skies pour down righteousness, and let the earth open, and let them bring forth salvation. Let righteousness spring up together. I, Yahuwah, have created it. John 3:31. He that cometh from above is above all. He that is of the earth is earthy, and speaketh of the earth. He that cometh from heaven is above all. And John 8:23. And he said unto him, You are from beneath, I am from above. Ye are of this world, I am not of this world. The truth leads to discernment and is pivotal in our inner standing. Let me ask about this pre-programmed response. I don't get this from my wife anymore, but when I first started waking up, and I'd be like, baby, you gotta know the truth. Oh man, you need to take that negativity on out here. Get it out here, boy. Get that negativity on out. The truth sounds negative to those living a lie. That's every single one of us. The truth forces us to change, and that is the hardest thing for mankind to do, is change themselves. John 18:38. Pilate saith unto him, What is truth? What are you talking about? What is truth? What makes it truth? What can be truth? Truth is perspective, right? You've got your truth, I've got mine, and you've got yours. Right? Everybody's got their own truth. That's a lie. The truth is inherent. It's everlasting. From beginning to end, it will remain the truth. No matter what. No matter what you or I do to it, or how we lie to ourselves, the truth is the truth. There's no changing. Our journey towards the truth is our culmination of experience, knowledge, and application of the truth. simple absolutes in this reality are quickly being taken over by perspective truth. Truth that is based on feeling, or better yet, truth that is based on a lack of knowledge. Moral absolutes and spiritual absolutes do exist and are easily discerned. Lying, cheating, stealing, coveting, and killing. Bad, right? Well, not in this society, they're not bad. It depends on the situation that you're in, right? No, they're bad, period. To the senses, these are abhorrent to the senses, and these are ingrained into our hearts as bad. Spiritually, we are called not to give our authority to someone else, to not worship idols with idle words. Idle means vain, void, useless. Idle words. That's an idol. By your word you shall be justified, by your word you shall be condemned. That is the importance of what comes out of our mouth. Let your yea be yea, your nay be nay. Love the Creator with heart, mind, and soul. This journey requires a humble heart, one willing to admit when they are wrong, or to have an open heart that is willing to accept more truth as we obtain more knowledge. 1 John 2:15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of the Father abideth forever. John 17:11. And now I am no more in the world, but these are in the world, and I come to thee. Holy Father, keep through thine own name those who thou hast given me, that they may be one, as we are. While I was with them in the world, I kept them in my name. Those that thou givest me, I have kept, and none of them is lost, but the son of perdition, that the scripture might be fulfilled. Who knows what the perdition means? It's from the Latin perditio, from perdo, to lose, to ruin. Perdition, the utter loss of the soul, or of final happiness in a future state, future misery, or eternal death. An impenitent sinner is condemned to final perdition. If we reject the truth, we seal our own what? Perdition. I have given them thy word, and the word hath hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world, but that thou should keepest them from the evil. They are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth. When law and morality are in contradiction, the citizen finds himself in the cruel dilemma of either losing his moral sense or of losing respect for the law. Two evils of which one is as great as the other, between which it is difficult to choose. Sometimes the law defends plunder and participates in it. What's plunder? Take from another. Robin Hood. Take from one to give to the poor. Take from anybody. It's called plunder. What's your commandments say? Thou shalt not what? Steal. It didn't have a little asterisk up there on that commandment that said except by government. Sometimes the law places the whole apparatus of judges, police, prisons, and gendarmes at the service of the plunderers, and treats the victim, when he defends himself, as a criminal. Which kingdom will you serve? Too often are the two kingdoms mixed. It's what man likes to do, because they like doing what thou wilt. We are not commodities, folks, exchanged as mere cattle. You are the substance, you are the value of everything that these wicked men and women are trying to do to you. They know it. How come you don't know it? This world will continue to descend into chaos because that is what the beast does. Stay sober, remain vigilant, and above all things have not the spirit of fear,